I'll be fine. Having suffered from fibromyalgia was a very intense experience. And, going from doctor to doctor, basket of pills. It was very hard. And having had 4 kids and trying to be a wife and a mother and everything else, it was very hard to see how to get out of that experience. And it wasn't until I literally prayed and said, take me or heal me, that the doors finally opened. I had made a pledge, I guess, of some sort that they haven't heard, and brought me to Atlantic University. And so through the classes that I took, I started to recognize that I can heal, I could heal. And that was the beginning of my journey that I'm on now, which is to take what I've learned through my process and to help others so that they can see that they can heal from the inside out, and they can become whole, and they can see life as beauty and magic. So through my process, I have seen that life is like a story, and that we are all connected, and that we are connected with not just people, but we're connected with everything that's outside of us. And through that connection, and by connecting with all the things that are outside of us, we are able to become more aware and conscious of being who we are, being alive, being a part of co-creating with the universe. And so as I went through my studies over the last 3 years, I started to have my own internal awakening in realizing that I am a strong person, that I did not have to be sick, that I could use the tools that are available to us. Because everything in life, we have tools. We use tools to repair cars. We use a pen to write. That's a tool. So I noticed that the transpersonal tools were having a really powerful effect on me. And it was telling my life story. So my dreams started to become more intense. And I started to recognize they were giving me messages. I noticed that the connection with animals in nature around me was speaking to me. I noticed numbers very readily. And I started to use oracle cards to give me messages and to help me understand what was going on in my life, where I was going, who I was becoming. And as I started to use these on a regular basis as a package, so to speak, I began to break out of my shell, break out of that person that had been beaten down by that illness. And I started to discover here I am. So I decided that through my own experience, I wanted to help others to come into their own personal essence, to really discover, who am I? Why am I here? What's my life all about? And I decided to create a 4-week e-course so that people could do it on their own time in the privacy of their own home. And I took 4 transpersonal tools. There's hundreds of them out there. But these were the ones that spoke to me, and I thought they had such a major impact on my journey that they can have an impact on others as well. And I decided to use oracle cards. And my favorite deck is Messages of Light, which is very powerful. And then the next one was Nature and Animals, Numerology, and finally Dream Interpretation. And I put them in a specific sequential order so that they would build one on top of the other. So finally, by the time you have your dream, over those 4 weeks, you will be building on your knowledge and your wisdom that's gained by using these tools. So the first one, Oracle cards, and I'm just going to show you by example how this works. The way I set up the class was each week I set up an assignment, and the assignment for the Oracle cards was to pick 1 to 3 cards each day for a week. And then at the end of each week, they would fill out a questionnaire on how that affected their life, whether there were changes made, and I had a set of questions for them to answer. It was interesting because at the beginning of the class, before it even started, when I started soliciting for participants, I had 11 participants total. It was funny because I had several men signed up, but they all dropped out. So it ended up only being women. I don't know if there's a significance to that, but there were 11 women. And most were probably the average age between 35 and 55. Most of the women seem to be on a life journey, life path, going through transitions in their life. So before the class even started, I got an email from one of the participants that she had already started feeling the effects of the class. She had pulled some cards on her own before the class even started, and it had already given her a message. And then another participant emailed and said she'd gone to the lake for the weekend, and usually she said there's ducks around and other things, but this one time, it was like the Sunday before the Monday class was to start, she saw a swan and no other ducks or anything. So this class kind of takes on an energy of its own, sort of like the mandalas do. And so Oracle cards, everything vibrates with energy. Everything speaks to us. Words have very powerful connections. Our higher self speaks to us through the words. It's no different than if you take a book, and I'm sure some of you have had experiences where you go to your library in your home or to a library, and it's like you stop in front of a book, you pull it out, and you open it to a page, and you read an excerpt to it. It's speaking to you. Something is guiding you to that book for a particular reason. And it's always about growth and transformation and healing, whether it's your mind, your body, your spirit. And in hindsight, I realized for myself that I was spiritually, emotionally, and physically depleted and dead, and when I had my fibromyalgia. And once the doors opened and I started to take these classes and started to evolve and transform, I started to awaken. One of the benefits of this class is for heightened awareness, increased intuition, getting to know yourself better, becoming more aware of your interaction with life outside of you, that it doesn't start out here, it starts in here. So my card pick for today, Glimmer of Hope. Source of joy. And the only goal. So I can look at these and I can read the descriptions, and then I can say to myself, how does this relate to what's going on in my life today? And so what my participants did is they picked them, and then they journaled, and then they were able to internalize and figure out what the messages are that's coming through the words, that's being guided either by their higher self, their inner self, source energy that's around us. And so we did that for the Oracle cards. And then the next week, we did nature and animals. How many times has anyone had a bird fly in front of their car out of the blue? Okay. If you're not aware of this, that's a message. If it comes from the right, it means one thing. If it comes from the left, it means another thing. So one of the things I wanted the participants to do was to start paying attention to the animals. One day I was riding home and I saw a little possum with a raccoon, it might have been a raccoon and its baby in my neighborhood. And I've lived in that neighborhood 12, 13 years. That's the first time I've ever seen it. So I Googled animal totem to find out what a raccoon represents. And sure enough, the description of what a raccoon represents fit right in tune with whatever was going on in my life at the time. So anytime you see an animal and you get a chill, or you get a sense that there's a reason you saw it, you can look up animal totem and the name of the animal, and then you can understand why it showed up in your life. Same thing with nature. You can put your hand on a tree and you will get information, wisdom, just like Pocahontas in the tree, she's wisdom. You can stand barefoot in the grass and you will get information about our connection with nature and anything that you need to know. Look at clouds. Everything speaks to us. So the assignment for that week was to pay attention to nature and what was going on in their life during that week. The third week was numerology, and I love numbers. I don't like math, but I love numbers. So how many people have been guided to just all of a sudden turn their head and look at a digital clock, and you see 1111, 444, 333, 222? Okay. So that is also a message. Whether it's coming from source energy, it's coming from yourself, whatever it is, it's you're being shown that number, those numbers, because it's necessary for you to be aware of whatever's going on. And again, you can look that up online. There's all kinds of websites that give definitions. And then the last one was dream interpretation. And what my participants discovered was that through the process of these 3 weeks, the dreams kind of culminated with what had been going on in their life those 3 weeks, and they were easily able to understand what the dream was trying to tell them. And everybody, just like a lot of people had talked about with their projects, everybody in my participation, all the participators, were transformed. And I'm going to read some of the comments that they made that was really showed me that this does have an impact on people, and that we can use these tools, answer questions, to get answers to questions we might have about why a certain situation has showed up in our life, or why something is happening. To also, this kind of class can give a prelude of something yet to occur, and it's giving you a sign and information. One person wrote, "I enjoyed the class a lot. I found the animals, nature, and oracle cards were what I'm most connected with. I plan to continue to use these regularly, as well as stay alert to the numbers and dreams as they come into my consciousness. Thanks. It was an excellent experience. A lot of work and forethought has been put into this project. Well done. I have been enjoying drawing and writing about the oracle cards each night. I think I mentioned I was in a little of a funk this weekend. I was feeling overwhelmed and burned out. Well, it has been amazing because on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday night, I selected the playfulness card out of the deck of 52 cards. I always shuffle them well before selection. So this person actually, on 3 days, shuffling the cards, picked the same card each day. Of course, this card is encouraging me to take some time for fun play. Bobby and I have rearranged our schedules and will take Monday off. We're heading down to our place at Oriental for a long weekend. The weather's supposed to be great. I'm feeling better already. The universe was definitely trying to get a message across. Each part of your course is very interesting and enlightening. I especially enjoy reading a card a day. It seems like the cards was one of the things that people really liked the most. It's really amazing how on the money they are. I plan on continuing to use these tools. Thank you for an excellent course. Just wanted you to know I'm enjoying your course. My card readings have been really remarkable. Thanks, Eileen. Already had an aha moment. Was feeling a little discouraged this morning about my business, but the card I selected affirmed that I need to keep on working, even when alone, and tried, so I make a difference in others' lives. My mood and attitude has shifted. So this course, like I said, has an energy, and everybody was able to gain something from it. And even those who were new in this field and those who have been doing this kind of work, they all were transformed in one way or another. And I know based on my own experience, it has transformed me and allowed me to break out of the person that I used to be, who was It's suppressed in some way in not honoring the true self that I am, the true person that I am. And by using these tools, I've gotten a better idea of what's coming in my life, where I'm going, who I'm becoming, and what's going to be in my future. So I really enjoyed putting the class together, and it gave me great pleasure to see that all the participants got something out of it and that they benefited. And so in conclusion, I again want to thank AU for helping me to be who I am today, and all my professors, and Henry for all your hard work with my paper, and Ray for introducing me. And I'm glad that I was helpful for you as well. So thank you.